Hi, this is That New Mommy with another Project Runway recap. This is Season 14, Episode 5, Gunn and Heid. This episode, it started off with the designers in their rooms talking about, the elimination and the win. Blake is feeling pretty good with his win in the guys' dorm room. And Amanda, she's, feeling bad for herself. She says she knows the bottom very well. Candace is over here, you won't be in the bottom long. But Amanda, seriously, she's clueless. Amanda insists that her design wasn't the worst, and I actually agree. Because Amanda, you're still in the competition. Your design was the second worst. They usually eliminate the worst. You want to try to get off the second worst. So anyways, they go meet Tim and Heidi on the runway, and I love the silhouette because, look at this. It's so funny. Tim looks awesome with a paintball gun. It's Tim Gunn. Come on now. And Heidi clowning around as usual. I love that. I love Heidi because of that, because she's such a clown. So they're gonna divide them up into teams. Edmund here is already having flashbacks, and not the good kind, about his last team experience. They all look quote unquote happy. Blake won the last challenge, so he chooses a teammate, and he chooses Swap Neil, which is, of course, an awesome idea. Heidi uses the button bag then to choose who's going to be the next person, and the button bag says it's going to be Candace. So Candace chooses the next person for her team. Ashley is here thinking, she's going to choose me, we want to challenge together, she knows I'm a great sword, blah, 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 and I actually agree. But Candace ended up choosing Amanda. I'm not stupid. She chose Amanda out of pity. And guess what? When she says why she chose Amanda, it was to uplift her. Yeah, great strategy, Candace. Bored. Anyway, so then the people that were chosen choose the following person, and so forth. So Swap Neil chose Joseph. Amanda chose Kelly. Joseph chose Jake. Kelly, I'm like, oh girl, choose Edmund or Ashley, please. But no, she chose Lindsay. Christ. Jake chose Edmund. Lindsay chose Lori. And honestly, my heart is already broken for Ashley. For Ashley and for Merlene. So Edmund, my honey bunny, he chose Merlene. And Ashley doesn't want to be that. Nobody should be. Well, someone has to be the last, but I didn't want her to be last, and I didn't want Merlene to be the last one, because let's admit it. I'm like, what are they doing? First they chose Amanda, which was in the bottom, I don't know how many times. Then they chose Lindsay. Really? Amanda and Lindsay over Ashley and Merlene? It's ridiculous. The thing is, Joseph notices this, because he's over here, they're choosing who. I hate that. Okay, fine. I hate it that he said, girls being girls, because it's a sexist comment, okay? I'm a girl, and I know that their strategy was just being... It was just a stupid, ridiculous strategy. This is a competition, and you choose by strength. And having these two females be the last ones, fine, Merlene may not have won a challenge yet, but she's been high. Compared to Lindsay and Amanda, come on now, please. The thing is, Heidi pointed it out, too. Because Heidi's like, Ashley won 2 challenges, and she's the last one. I know it's horrible to say this, but at this point, I was just hoping that the girls lose. Because they were choosing friends over strength, and that's, hello, you don't do that. That's just, this is a competition, stop. I wouldn't want to be in their team either. Anyway, so they go off to a paintball park. They're basically playing capture the flag, but it's capture the fabric. They needed to get as much fabric as possible because they were going to end up using it for the challenge, which is obviously you can tell that. So the blue team goes first, and they have to defend the fabric, right? Their fabric, and then they were gonna switch. So honestly, it sounded awesome. The teams were set up. 2 of them were set up with paintball guns, and 4 of them were set up with paintball grenades. Seriously, it does sound fun. Jake is pretty good at shooting. I saw that. And the thing is, because the girls had gone first, Kelly was like, I don't like the colors, because they just, let's just get the fabrics, whatever, a lo loco, and whatever. So they ended up with a whole bunch of weird colors. When the boys and Merlene, because that's what they're called, the boys and Merlene team, when they were up, Joseph was like, oh, well, let's just get, I think it was like yellow, green, and blue. They had a plan going in. Merlene was super pumped, and I'm like, girl, I still want to hang with you. So when the boys go try to get their fabric, Ashley is just killing them with that paintball gun. I mean, Edmund even recognizes this. And the thing is, when she was younger, she played paintball with her brother. So, Edmund is over here regretting not having picked her. And the thing is that the boys weren't really getting any fabric. I mean, Blake is in a corner, like behind something. He was hiding. And then Jake, it's like, how do you go? Like in Independence Day at the end with the oh my god, the reformed alcoholic father. Jake did one of those, he just went in, he kamikazed himself, and then the team went in and they started backing him up. And they actually did well. So then Tim announces the twist, and the twist is that the material that they were going to use was actually the material that they were wearing, and the fabric that they captured was actually going to be the supplemental fabric. And the team challenge was create a 6-piece mini collection. And then I love Tim. Tim just started joking about Blake not making anything, because he was like complete. He hit it. His thing was complete. His jumpsuit was completely clean. And then Tim was like, oh, as Marlene would say, oh snap! I thought that was hilarious. So they go to the workroom, and oh Lord. Candace, she was like, oh, we have a strong team, and she was calling Amanda the comeback kid, and I'm like, yeah. So I started thinking, well, if I had a team, what would my team be? So obviously it's 6 members, so I would be one of them. I would definitely choose Ashley and Edmund, swap Neil, obviously, and then after some thinking, I would still go for Candace and Kelly. Now this episode didn't go well for the ladies, but it's because I would be opening my mouth and letting them know, no, let's just do it like this because what you're doing is wrong. So while Tim is saying that they're going to be using the white fabric, oh no, they had white fabric there, additional white fabric for them to use, and they had paintball paint in case they also wanted to use it. He mentioned the word cohesion. The collections had to be cohesive. This is a thing that always takes people down in these kind of challenges, and at this point I'm pretty sure it was going to do the same for the losing team. So Ashley, she feels afraid about stepping up as a leader, and I totally get it. She doesn't feel welcome, and I mean, it's totally understandable. The boys start talking about what they're gonna do. They decide to do something Jackson Pollock inspired, and I think that's pretty cool. Ashley's over here asking questions, but they're not listening. They just want to paint, and then they want to come up with the designs. I mean, they have no plan. They're just like scattered, and at that point I'm like, yeah, this is not gonna end up well. This is gonna end up bad. And anyways, that's what I thought at that point. So the day 2 in the workroom, the boys are even painting shoes. I mean, they're working so much better as a team than when Edmund was teamed up with Han Miao. Joseph even complimented Merlene, so I thought that was pretty cool. And then you go over to the girls' team, and I don't know, I mean, Candace is leading, but Amanda says that no one wants her in charge. It was such a mess. You could tell Ashley mentioned that. Ashley was like, oh, they're doing individual looks instead of working together and, doing a mini collection, and she was right. So when Tim comes in for the consultations, the consultation with Tim, like always, I see what Swapnil is making on the mannequin, and I definitely want to see the end result in the runway. Edmund seems so happy with the team dynamic, and I'm like, oh, sweetie, mi amor, I'm so happy for you. Tim just said the same thing that Ashley, was feeling, that they're each doing individual looks instead of a collection. And Ashley, she's like, oh, I'm scared. And he's all, you should be. I love Tim. He calls it an Easter egg fest, and I'm like, yes, that's what it looks like, Easter. Then he said that they needed the bunny ears, so I'm like, Lord, that's like the awesome. It's just an awesome, nice insult. So Tim leaves, and the girls they start to regroup, but because no one knows the concept, Amanda's lost, which isn't surprising. Candace was over here getting stanky with Ashley, because Ashley wasn't really stepping up, and I would actually understand why she's not stepping up. Lindsay liked this, so right there I'm thinking, but I mean, they all look defeated. They don't have a concrete idea. So they're like, oh, let's just make everything purple, and bam, it's cohesive. So I'm like, great. So this is, oh, they're just so lost, really. It's like sometimes the editing of the show, I'm thinking, oh my god, with all this trouble they're going through, and them keeping showing that Edmund is feeling good about the team, makes me think, will the boys lose? I mean, will this be crazy? Will the boys and Marlene lose? I'm sorry, will this be crazy and the girls win? What? So wait, I wanted to tell you that Tim goes in with, I'm awful with names, you guys know this, but with this representative from Sally Beauty Supply, and she mentions that they have a Sally Beauty mobile nail studio, which is awesome. It has 750 colors inside so that you can choose to do your nails, and I'm like, yes, I would be there all day. But they get to use that so that the models each have a full head to toe look. It's just an awesome challenge. I love it, and these girls are screwing it up. Amanda's so frustrated that she's gonna go home that she even got an attitude with Lori. Lori's such a sweetheart. How can you get Ashley and Lori, two sweethearts, you get an attitude with them? Candace and Amanda, there's an issue with you people, not with them. So then Joseph called it the Smurfs against Purple People Eater, and I'm like, definitely that's what it looks like. I mean, okay, I know Amanda's frustration. She has a lot to prove, and she says that her team is bringing her down, which, I can get why she feels like that, but, she's had several opportunities by now. This is what, the 5th episode? Come on now. So obviously at this point, I think they all suck, but I do want to see it on the runway. Sometimes messes on the runway look even more, not, better, but they look more entertaining. So when they're getting ready for the runway, Laurie tells Ashley that she overheard others in the group say that if they lose, others being Candace, Amanda, and Laurie, that if they lose, they were talking about throwing Ashley under the bus. So I think that's really, extremely shady. And honestly, from Amanda and Laurie, yeah, get it, but a little unexpected from Candace. And I was let down. So, okay, so runway time, when Heidi's talking to them and introducing the judges, whatever. Heidi mentioned the peculiar choosing process that the girls' team had. And obviously, if she said it twice, it's going to be a topic to come up if they were to lose and they choose to throw Ashley under the bus. That's just, mental note I made when she said that. Anyways, the runway starts and Blake's is the first one to come down. I like it, but the waist seam, not so much. I don't know that, that V didn't like it, but I did get why he used the white because his was extremely clean. Joseph's comes down next, and it's him. It's, the belt reminds me of when I wrap my shirt or like a sweater around my waist, but it is Joseph. The design says this is made by Joseph. Soft nails, obviously, as always, I love it. It's Soft Nails stamp is right on it, and I looked at it and I'm like, I want to wear it and just spin and spin. Jake, I saw it. It definitely said 50s. It definitely said modern. I also love it. they were really actually good. Merlene's, it's not for me, but it is an interesting design. And Edmund it was so nice. It was super nice. Even, Edmund's model's nails was they were super cool. The girls' team comes out, their designs come out, and Ashley's is super cute. It's not like what she's done before, but the pleats were nice. Laurie's is very cute. It was funny because she was like, oh, it's short in the front and long in the back. And I'm like, okay, I can wear it. Usually the thing is that when I wear skirts, which is why I don't wear skirts, they're usually longer in the front and shorter in the back. But I'd wear it because then maybe it would end up even. Lindsay's is just boring. And, I mean, it's Lindsay, so I expected that. Candace's design seems interesting, but I much prefer the bottom than the top because I don't know what's going on in the top. Kelly's was just extremely disappointing. I like Kelly's work, and this was just, I don't know what this was really. Amanda created something that wasn't really like, Amanda. But, I mean, I like the, how do you say, like the flow of it, the drama, I guess, of it. I mean, I thought it was pretty cool for a runway finale, so maybe I'm thinking, oh, well, maybe she hasn't gone that bad. She didn't, she won't do that bad, I think. The thing is, when everyone kind of sucks, like, do you, like, suck because everyone else influenced you or whatever? Or do you just suck because you're just really bad at designing? Which in her case, it's most probably that one. So anyways, the runway is over, and so my quick predictions, which was obviously easy. What team wins? The boys and Marlene team. I mean, hello. And obviously the girls by default will lose. The winner, at first I'm like, oh, it should be between Swapnil and Edmund, but I really like Swapnil, so I'm gonna go for Swapnil. I'm sorry, Edmund. And the girls, I'm like, well, who should lose? Well, I don't want Kelly to go home, so I would just say Lindsay. So, or maybe Amanda, because, I mean, she already lost. That's 4th time. I mean, that's just go home already. So the judges, they decide to speak to the boys and Marlene team. And while they're speaking to them, the girls in the room, and they're trying to make up, the story of who their woman is now. And they didn't have them before. So Laurie's like, well, let's just say the truth. And Candace is like, nah, let's just say she's from some girl from San Francisco. And I'm like, Lord. Anyways, on the runway, the boys are explaining how they worked as a team, who did what. So I did not know that Swapnil used the shoes that he used to play paintball on the back of the dress. I thought that was pretty awesome. And Kelly Osbourne, she was a guest judge. She was very impressed, and she said that she could see each of them in every one of the pieces, and it's true, I actually agree. The boys and Marlene, I was gonna say the boys and Marlene team go back into the room, and the girls come out. And on the runway, well, Candace starts saying, the story about the San Francisco the San Francisco girl, and this is a story they just made up. So then Laurie is speaking up, and she's like, we had no idea what we were doing. Heidi asked Ashley, and she was being honest about her feelings. Even Laurie spoke up about how they chose, and Ashley trying to say something, and they weren't really listening. And I honestly loved Laurie for that. I loved Laurie for her honesty. I mean, that made me like, go girl, even more for her. So between Nina's like worse were between Kelly's and Amanda's, and I guess Amanda's is worse than I thought. I mean, I guess it's better than her other work. Kelly Osbourne, she didn't like Laurie's look. She thought Ashley's skirt was what was it she said? Anyway, she didn't think much of Ashley's skirt. She didn't think much of Candace's top, and she hated Kelly's dress. Kelly, the designer's dress. So Kelly Osbourne is like, you guys all suck. So when they showed the model's nails, Heidi's like, oh, the nails, the model's nails is the best thing there, and that's just sucks. This is going bad for the girls. So the inevitable question comes up. Who should be out? So obviously, okay, this is when it started getting good. Again, they're like, oh, who should go out? And Zach is like, well, in terms of clothing, who should be out? Kelly says Ashley. That annoyed me because I've always been pro Kelly, and I feel like she's just going with the group. And I'm like, wow, so what Lori said begins. Lindsay said, based on the challenge, Ashley. Amanda, of course, is gonna say Ashley. And it's like, wow, it's just like Lori said. Everyone is over here saying Ashley. And the thing is that while they're doing this, Nina and Kelly Osbourne are looking at each other. And Kelly, she's like, oh, this just sounds like a bitch fest. Because it was. So they asked Candace, and I'm thinking, oh God, is she going to change her mind? Is she going to say someone else? And she did. She ended up saying Lori. Which, come on now. Really? She just pissed you off. Because she, called you out on the runway. Ashley, well, says Amanda, which, okay, it's true. I mean, she should leave by now. I mean, I don't know why she's still there. And Lori says Amanda. So, I mean, come on, she's been in the bottom 3 times already. I mean, Anyway, so they go back into the room, and Blake, who we all know, I've always felt that Blake was an ass. But then when Blake was teamed up with Kelly, I'm like, I'm beginning to like him. Well, you know what? With what he did in this episode, I like him even more. Because he called them out. He told them they were all being mean girls. And I was so happy that he called them out on that, because they were being mean girls. I still don't understand how they left Ashley and Marlene towards the end. Why would they choose Amanda, who's been on the bottom 3 times, or Lindsay? Why did they choose Lindsay, who's been on the bottom also? Ashley just needs to kick ass. I mean, seriously, one by one, knock them out. Although in this case, I have the feeling Amanda's gonna leave. When they're talking there, I'm like, yeah, Amanda, this is not going good for you. So, I'm just, I'm still not fan of Amanda or Lindsay. And Candace and Kelly really knocked me. They really just pissed me off anyways. Judges go in for a closer look, and they love the blue Smurfs. They love the blue Smurfs. They really love Edmund's look, Swap Neal's, and Jake's. When it came to the girls' mess, Tim said, Nina had said that the blue team, that the boys and Marlene's team, that they were the best collection that she has seen in any of the seasons. The funniest thing was that about the girls' mess, Tim said that it's been the most dysfunctional team in Project Runway history. They called Ashley's, they said it looked like an apron. It wasn't the worst because it had detail and work put into it, but not that good. They also called out Candace's for being awfully overworked, and Nina said it made her sad. I don't know what went on with Kelly's outfit, so I'm not gonna even go there. I really feel bad for her because it really sucked. They had mixed emotions about Amanda's. They said it was a well-made tent. Nina called it dead weight. So honestly, at that point, I'm thinking, okay, it's gonna be between Amanda and Kelly. I just want Amanda gone. I mean, come on now. So, by the way, loved Nina's necklace. I thought it was so cute. Anyway, so who won? Edmund won. Yay! And when he won, I really loved that he thanked Jake for the print. So I thought that was pretty cool of him. It was classy on his part. So now it's both Ashley and Edmund. They each have 2 wins under their belt. This is only the 5th episode. That's pretty cool. Heidi did mention the teammate choosing again. I mean, this really annoyed Heidi. I mean, she's mentioned it a couple of times. So she calls out Lori, Lindsay, and Ashley, says that they're in. Awesome. And that leaves behind Kelly, Amanda, and Candace. So one of them is out. Kelly is in, so I'm like, okay, well, that means it's between Amanda and Candace, so obviously Amanda, so hold on. Or maybe it was Candace because she was a team leader. But no, finally, Amanda was called out. I mean, seriously, now we need Lindsay out and I'll be happy. So I know for sure that Tim is not gonna save her. I mean, come on. The thing is, she's still here like, oh, it's not solely my fault, because the others, she was like influenced by the others or whatever. I mean, she still doesn't want to, how do you say? she doesn't want to take responsibility for her designs. I mean, she's been saying that, oh no, it's other people. Dude, is it really? I mean, first episode, fine, she was safe. But that's it. The second episode, she worked alone. She was low. Third episode, she wasn't a team, but she was alone. And the team being one other person who could have probably been influenced because she was very happy working on them. So half of them were her ideas. Episode 4, she was low. Whose fault was it? She was working alone. I mean, come on. If you would not have been low, what was this? Out of 4 episodes, 3 times, then you may not have gone home. But come on. This is your 4th low in 5 episodes. Girl, take responsibility. It's nobody's fault but your own. So annoying, but I'm glad she's gone. That is it. It was a stressful episode. It just pissed me off. Anyways, I will talk to you guys next time for the next Project Runway recap. Again, this was episode 5, Gunn and Heid. Until next time.